If you're in the nonprofit world, you know that every single dollar counts. I mean, every penny. That's why today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a metric that can seriously transform your fundraising efforts, the donor acquisition cost.
So, let me ask you a question. It's probably one that keeps you up at night. You're running the ads, you're holding the events, you're sending out mail, but are those fundraising dollars really working as hard as they could be? Or are you just kind of spending money, crossing your fingers, and hoping for the best?
You know, pouring your precious resources into outreach and just hoping it all works out, well, that's a pretty risky game to play. And in a world where your mission depends on a solid financial foundation, guesswork just isn't a sustainable strategy. The good news, there's a much, much smarter way to build your donor base.
And that smarter way all comes down to understanding one powerful little number. It's called the Donor Acquisition Cost, or DAC for short. Now, this isn't just another piece of boring jargon, I promise. This is a genuinely strategic tool.
So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, it's the grand total it costs you to convince someone to make their very first donation to your cause. You can think of it like the price tag for acquiring one brand new donor.
And the best part, the math is incredibly simple. Seriously, you just take your total fundraising costs for a campaign, divide that by the number of new donors you brought in from that effort, and voila, that's it. That number is your donor acquisition cost.
Okay, so you have a number. Why is this such a big deal? Well, because understanding your DAC is what moves you from guessing to knowing. It's a total game changer, fundamentally shifting your fundraising from something that feels like an art into a real science.
I mean, just think about the difference. Before, you're kind of flying blind. You've got wasted resources, you're not sure what the real return on your investment is. But once you know your DAC, the whole picture changes. Suddenly, you can pinpoint what's not working and build a strategy based on actual, hard data, not just a gut feeling.
And that's the key here. DAC empowers you. It lets you spot those underperforming campaigns really, really fast. You know, maybe that super expensive gala isn't actually bringing in as many new folks as your cheap, targeted social media ads. This data lets you pivot, put your money where it's actually working, and build a stronger, more sustainable donor base without breaking the bank.
So this all leads to the next big question, right? Once you've done the math and you've got your number, how do you know if it's a good number?
Look, there's no single magic number that fits every single nonprofit. It really depends on your organization, your goals, the lifetime value of a donor, all that stuff. But there is a general benchmark that can be a really helpful warning sign.
And according to our source material, $100 is a number to watch. If it's costing you more than $100 to get a single new donor, you should probably see that as a red flag. Now, it doesn't automatically mean you're failing, not at all, but it's a really strong signal that you need to take a closer look and ask if your strategy is truly sustainable in the long run. So what do you do if your DAC is hovering above that $100 mark? Well, the source material suggests it's time to explore your more cost-effective channels. Are you really getting the most out of your social media? Is your email marketing as sharp as it could be? Often, just refining your message on these lower-cost platforms is an incredibly powerful way to bring that DAC number down.
All right, we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's get practical and talk about the how, because getting started with DAC is something you can literally do right now.
It's a really clear three-step plan. First things first, gather your numbers and calculate your overall DAC. Step 2, break it down. Don't just look at the big number. Analyze the DAC for each of your fundraising channels, your ads, your events, your mailings. Where are you getting the most bang for your buck? And finally, step 3 is to act on it. Double down on what's working, and maybe it's time to phase out the channels that are just draining your resources.
So, donor acquisition cost. It's really so much more than just another metric on a spreadsheet. You should think of it as a storyteller. It's telling you the true story of how your mission is connecting with people out in the world. And the question it leaves you with is this: what amazing story is your data just waiting to tell you?